was real and I wanted to share it, but consider yourself warned. Also, with a lot of these stories, they're not from my neighborhood, they're from the neighborhood of my friends and family. Okay, let's start with the first story. So, a friend of mine met this lady that was in her 40s. Let's give her a name. Belinda. Okay, Belinda. And Belinda was pregnant. My friend was pregnant as well, which is why they started talking, and she was asking her details like, oh, when the babies do, stuff like that. She also said that she already has an adult son, and now she's pregnant again and she cannot wait for the baby, stuff like that. She also mentioned that she lives in a community, and my friend didn't put two and two together. But last year, this group of people moved into the neighborhood. I think one of the son of the community member had this house. I don't know. I don't know exactly who the house belonged to. And it is a close religious group of people. But they're not Catholic. They do not have any normal religion, because the head of the group believes that he is God himself. Oh yes, he believes that he is a God that was sent to earth to bring happiness and salvation to others. You know, sometimes with cult leaders, you at least have them saying like, oh, I'm a messiah of God, or like, I'm a prophet. No, this dude straight up is like, I'm God, listen to me. And they started causing issues in the neighborhood, but there's not much that the people can do. You know, it's not like they can be like, oh, go away, and we don't want you here, if the house belongs to like one of the members or a family member of one of the cult members. Like, there's not much you can do. And people really started disliking this group when the God incarnated started going around town and inviting people into his house for a lecture. But he also invited kids. So he would wait around. There's a high school, there's also elementary and middle school. And he would wait around that area and he would invite children to his house to listen to his lecture. Now, obviously, this is problematic as hell, right? And of course, like, everyone is teaching, you know, children do not go with strangers, you know, do not go into their house, yada yada. But still, this is not okay. This should not be happening. But then people at least have like midwives present, right? Or someone called doula. So I don't know about the definition of the term, but here it means someone that has no medical background, no nursing school, nothing. They just assist with the birth, and that's it. This word can mean different things. Actually, wait to look up the definition now. So it's someone that provides advice and psychological and physical support, but they don't exactly have nursing education like a midwife would have. That's just how the terms are being used in the country that this happened. But Belinda had nursing school and she used to be a nurse, so you would think that she knew what can happen, right? And things went wrong. So I will tell you exactly what happened just so you would know that this wasn't really an emergency situation at first. Again, if you don't want to listen to this, don't. But basically, you have to cut off the umbilical cord, and the placenta has to come out as well, right? And it did not. It did not come out. Also, for some strange reason, they didn't cut off the umbilical cord either. And I'm like confused by the situation as well. Anyways, so if the placenta does not come out, if you're in a hospital, this is a big problem, and the doctors have to step in because at this point it's like a dead flesh basically. It has to come out, right? And my mom told me that apparently like she was given like 15 minutes, and after that like the doctors will step in. With this woman, with Belinda, my goodness, oh my god, she didn't deliver the placenta for 12 hours, and she started to faint and collapse. And actually the God Incarnated was doing a live stream on his YouTube channel that I don't know how many people watched, when one of the other cult members barged in and was like, oh, Belinda is collapsing in the bathroom. Keep in mind, the baby is still attached to the placenta, okay? What? Anyways, so they finally, after 12 hours, called an ambulance, but at that point, it's too late. Like, your body basically goes into sepsis and you die. But the emergency doctors arrived on the scene. The cult members started fighting the emergency doctors. And the doctors also had to take the policemen with those like long automatic guns that were placed before like the department that Belinda was in, and even before the entrance to the hospital. And everyone in the cult was just so against it, like against Belinda going to the hospital. Okay, so then the story got kind of big, and some of the cult members were interviewed. And I've watched a few videos, and it's so disturbing. It's wow, just wow. So there was this older lady talking about the birth and how smooth it was and how perfect and amazing it was, and that I quote this, I remember this, it's been a while, but I remember this word for word. Every sound she made was so beautiful. I don't want to curse, oh my goodness, just wow. Like, first of all, how tone deaf can you be? When Belinda was dying, also, like, these people were not in their right minds. It's as if you were interviewing like robots that have been programmed to not say anything negative. It was so bizarre and weird. Well, Belinda passed away in the hospital. She actually did. And now the state got involved because there's still the baby. The baby survived. And normally they would go home to the father, and at first people were like, okay, there has to be a criminal case here somewhere, like there ain't no way. But if there's something that I've learned about cults, it's that it's extremely difficult to find grounds for a criminal case because they're either protected by law, or everyone in the cult is going to not speak honestly, right? They're not going to make a police statement that will be truthful. Like, everyone is going to cover for themselves, which is why this is so upsetting, because so far no one has been accused by the police of anything. And you would think there would be at least something like unintentional killing, something like that, right? But so far, nothing. The only problem is that Belinda's husband does not work. He made a statement on like Facebook or something that he's not a slave to society and he refuses to work, which is the reason why the state does not want to hand over the baby. So Belinda's husband made a post on Facebook and a GoFundMe so that people can donate money to him so that he could get the baby back. First of all, I don't even think this is going to work because you need like a stream of income, not just one time GoFundMe. But also people were not happy with this. Oh god. And just, yeah, obviously they hate the husband, they hate the cult. They're just like we don't want you here. Also, okay, like this dude, he refuses to work because he's not a slave to society, but you want money from others, from society. How does that work, buddy? Right? People were not happy about this. But that's kind of where we are at, unfortunately. And I know that the laws, even if you're in Europe, they vary from country to country, and unfortunately when it comes to adoption, child protective services, stuff like that, the laws are extremely weak. So now they have to investigate this dude every 3 months. And if he would get a job, then the baby will be handed over to him. Currently, it's in foster system, which is not great either. Yeah. Also, you would think that the cult leader would make, I don't know, some sort of apology statement on his YouTube, for example. Nope, nothing. But instead, they have been posting videos every single day that are just pure nonsense. Just interviews that make no sense. Clips from like war and like other countries with a monologue that makes like no sense whatsoever. And they even had the audacity to ask other women in the cult about the beauty of childbirth. What? So obviously people do not want this cult in the neighborhood, right? But so far it seems like there's not much they can do, unfortunately. I wish this would have a better ending, but that's where we are at, unfortunately. I wanted to cover other stories, but I'll have to save those for the next neighborhood gossip. If I'll have any updates, I will maybe add them to the future neighborhood gossip. I still have more stories, not about this cult, about others in the neighborhood, but I'll save those for next time. Thank you for listening to this story. I know it's been kind of extreme, but you know, these things do happen in real life. They're not just part of, you know, true crime podcasts, and yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. It's so strange when you hear directly about someone that is in a cult. So yeah, wanted to share this crazy and sad story, unfortunately. Also, Belinda's husband has not made a single post about the death of his wife. Instead, it's like GoFundMe's and like posts like, oh, why are people like terrorizing me? Why are people not happy about like what I do? And I only know this because I found their like profiles and it's public. So anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye.